Welcome to ComSpark. Today we're in Columbus, Ohio. My name is Kevin Gadd. I'm on the Executive Host Committee for ComSpark, and I'll be your guest host today. Today we're here with Ervan Rodgers, CIO of the state of Ohio. Welcome.
Thank you.
Ervan, many of us aren't familiar with the CIO of the state of Ohio would do. Could you give us a little hint about what your roles and responsibilities are?
Sure, not a problem. So there are approximately 5 different branches from a state government perspective. I happen to fall underneath the executive branch with the governor. Then you have 4 separately elected offices. So I actually am a part of the Department of Administrative Services. So I have two roles, if you will. I am not only the state CIO, where each of the agency boards and commissions CIOs are dotted line to me, but they report directly into the executive directors, commissioners, chairmen. They all have various titles. But in addition to overseeing all the various technology for the state of Ohio, whether that be hardware or software, anything technology related, I'm responsible for that. Making sure that we are looking at things from a statewide perspective and not necessarily from an individual. So we're trying to build things that we may not be able to see in our lifetime, but we want to make sure we are using and being good fiscal agents of state tax dollars. The second part of my role, I'm actually the Assistant Director at the Department of Administrative Services, in which I report into the Director. Although most people affectionately call the position State CIO, I'm a part of every person is a part of a department. My department happens to be Department of Administrative Services, DAS.
Interesting. So Governor DeWine and Lieutenant Governor Houston, we hear a little bit about them, this Innovate Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about that, especially on the modernization first? What kind of modernization efforts are involved in Innovate Ohio?
Sure. So it's really phenomenal to see a governor. So Governor DeWine, I worked for him 4 years at the Attorney General's office. I really got a chance to know him, and he's the people's governor. That's my nickname for him. And he's a great guy, and I'm happy to serve in this capacity as state CIO. And Lieutenant Governor, he is passionate about technology.
I've heard that.
And so from a technology perspective, the governor has charged him to lead Innovate Ohio. And so he is not only our lieutenant governor, but he's also our chief innovation officer. So many people say, well, what's the relationship from a CIO perspective, et cetera? And my answer is always consistent and the same. We are partners that work collaboratively together. So Innovate Ohio, we are, and I say we, not only am I including those that report directly to me, but I'm including the additional agency boards and commissions, their IT organizations as well. We are the engines behind Innovate Ohio. Innovate Ohio team, they're looking at it from a end user perspective, from a citizen standpoint. So the UX design, we're bringing the technology, and we meet up at the strategy layer. We just completed going through to all 32 agency boards and commissions, where we're doing kind of like a inventory of opportunities, if you will. So the next phase is kind of going through the prioritization. We have what we call the Innovate Ohio platform, and then we have the Innovate Ohio Plus projects that will be coming out. So Innovate Ohio, recently we signed an executive order, the governor signed, and support with the lieutenant governor. So nothing like having support at the very top of the house in order to get your job done.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. So there's not a week that goes by that we're not texting or having conversations. And so to have that support at the top of the house is really, I'm able to push the agenda forward within the Wine-Houston administration. We just finished up a cabinet retreat where all the cabinet members got together, and I was there. I was one of the first appointees that the governor had selected. That's how important technology is to this current governor and administrative team. So we're looking at innovating Ohio from a citizen standpoint. We're trying to make things better. Case in point, we just recently announced a very simplistic application for the B&B. If you've ever gone to the B&B,
Yes.
that it takes quite a bit of time. You might as well just plan to be there. Well, now we have a service where you can actually click to get in line. It's just like what the private industry has been offering all these years. We are in that same business, and that's the concept behind Innovate Ohio. We need to think more from a private perspective to take advantage of many of the services that are being offered, such as the Amazon. We want that to be a very friendly user experience. One of the lofty goals that we have from this administration is for a person never to have to go to an office, to be able to do everything online.
Wow.
So that's innovative and
That is
creative.
forward thinking.
And we are looking to be, that state, because we are the Ohio, state of Ohio, right? So,
I love it.
Yeah,
So you got a lot going on.
I do.
What are your top statewide priorities, though? You got a lot of priorities, but if you were to list the top couple,
Sure.
What would they be?
In addition to supporting Innovate Ohio, I'm partnering with Lieutenant Governor. Governor DeWine has charged me with making sure that, we're looking at state investments as a whole, so that we can ensure that the state's buying power doesn't get watered down by individual purchases. So one of the key initiatives I'm looking at is really the cloud. A lot of applications are, everybody wants to go to the cloud because it's sexy, right?
Yep.
And so we want to make sure we put some structure behind that, because if you go to the cloud, you can get yourself into some sticky situations. And because at the heart of Innovate Ohio is really the data, sharing data across the various agencies, we want to ensure that we have a construct in place when we go to the cloud that we can easily do that. And so one of the concepts that I've come up with in partnership with Innovate Ohio is that of a cloud center of excellence. And so we want to make sure that, as we're building out the state's tenant, if it's in the Microsoft Azure deployment, or if it's in the AWS, Amazon account, each one of them has a unique, naming culture. So what we're trying to do is we're basically trying to provide a standard list of services, whether that be managed services, self-service, or a combination of both those activities. So lots in that particular space. The other thing is we want to finish up this optimization. So we have approximately 7 agencies, which is also in the executive order for Innovate Ohio, that we need to consolidate their infrastructure into our state data center, so that we can, allow the server administration piece to the experts and to facilities that have 24/7 operations. And so we're expected to get that done March of next year, March 2020. And we're on track for that, and I'm really, really excited, again, to have the support from the top of the house. Another thing is we're looking at, skill sets, from a next generation of trying to bring folks in underneath apprenticeship programs. And so, cybersecurity, when you work at the state, it's a difference. I think that, I personally believe no one can tell that story better than I can, coming from private. I used to work in private all my life, except for the last 5 years. I've been dedicated to serving the great citizens of Ohio. We're trying to give the young folks an opportunity through an apprenticeship program, because you can't bake these folks fast enough. Organizations are just stealing talent from left and right. So we come up with a 2-year program in which we believe will not only benefit the state of Ohio, but we hope they stay with us. But it's all about making sure that we attract the appropriate talent at Bay. The fifth one is really, it's more of a concept, and it's really collaboration, right? Not only do I have to be collaborative within the state, but I'm looking to be collaborative at the local level, whether that be city, counties, you name it. I think it's very, very important, and I have personally taken it as my personal goal to basically embrace the role of state CIO, being the state CIO for the state, county, local, you name it, from a collaborative perspective, because there's many tools that we can share across all those various sectors. In addition to that, it's not uncommon for me to attend an event that may be a non-government an event, because ultimately it's economy of scale. You have to have the appropriate involvement across all various sectors, so that as we're trying to attract companies and organizations, they're seeing this as a hot commodity, and everybody wants to be here. We're one of the fastest growing innovative states, and that's what we're really trying to push that concept forward.
That's a lot of stuff. I have to say, I'm a very big fan of apprenticeship. I run a local apprenticeship program, nonprofit, so we're
That's awesome.
very happy with
We
your
should
support
talk
of
later.
that. Yeah,
Yes.
we're very happy
Yes.
with your support of that.
Yes.
You mentioned the cloud, and private industry is really going to the cloud. what are your plans for, you mentioned a little bit of them before, but
sure.
What are your plans for the state regarding the cloud?
So from a cloud perspective, we want to look at the cloud first when we're developing new applications, et cetera. But again, not every application makes sense to take to the cloud based on either regulatory requirements. There are so many
smart about what we put up.
That's correct. There's so many different regulations that require either FedRAMP certifications. Some vendors are ready, some aren't. And so you have to take a look at that continuum and make sure that we have the appropriate level of risk as well. Don't want to put everything in the cloud. We have a private cloud at the SOC. We refer to it as SOC. It's basically stands for the State of Ohio Computer Center, and so it's third tier. It's nice. It's a nice investment that took place probably about 2 or 3 years ago. We put a lot of investment in there, and so we actually hired a young lady by the name of Beverly John to basically come in and help us to not only offer that up to other state agencies, boards and commissions, but offer it up to maybe universities, other cities, counties that may be able not to afford a private, then get it kind of subsidized. And so as we get more folks in, the price goes down. That's really kind of the concept, is making sure that we have the appropriate balance by taking a look at regulatory requirements, et cetera. But at the end of the day, it's all about the data. And if we can take the data and make intelligent decisions and redirect resources according to the DeWine Houston administration, I think we're going to be able to do some great things. We're already starting to see some results from some of the studies, taking a look at data, such as the infant mortality study that was conducted, where we noticed a trend where African American babies were dying at a much greater rate. And so we started to take a look at where we needed to redirect funds or make awareness of various programs, making sure that there's mobility from a transportation standpoint, et cetera. So our governor wakes up every day and wonders, how can we solve problems with data that we have right now? It's just a matter of making sure that we share that data across all the various agencies, boards, and commissions in a uniform fashion where we protect the data. It's all about security is job one, and you have to build that in the very beginning. So you start with the end in mind, and that's really at the heart of this cloud journey that we're on right now.
Sounds like a great boss.
He's a great boss. I have a lot of respect for him. I've gone from everything from calling him, not knowing what to call him coming from private, then I learned to call him general, and now it's governor. So,
very nice. Well, last question is, all this emerging technology, it's got to be changing your role a little bit. How do you see your role changing over the next 4 to 6 years?
So in addition to having, Governor DeWine, Lieutenant Governor Husted, I have a terrific boss. It's Matt Schroeder, Director. Schroeder doesn't really like that. He likes to be called Matt. But with that being said, as we kind of take a look at the future, it's really a matter of, we're trying to figure out how do we prioritize it, because we have so many things that we want to accomplish. And we've recognized that we're going to build things that we may not be able to see the fruits of our labor, but we want to do what's right by the citizens of Ohio. So we're taking a look at emerging technologies. We're going to come out with an RFP where we're ready, so that we talk about blockchain, AI. We're using AI. We're using Watson from a call center perspective to help with the routing of calls, predicting of detecting tone. If it's escalating, to be able to get someone engaged. We're really using that tool to its fullest extent. The other areas that we're looking at from an emerging technology perspective is really, from RPA, the robotic, processing automation, where we're ultimately trying to take mundane tasks and make sure that they're repeatable in really from a standards perspective. So I'm really, really excited. I love this job.
You seem like you love this job.
I have lots of passion about this job, and I'm just really trying to embody this position to not only be the state's biggest cheerleader from a technology standpoint, but the biggest coach as well. And so I believe that if you enable your teams, empower them, and think about the big picture, there's nothing that we can't get accomplished, and we can't have government services look like those of Amazon, right? So
it's a big, audacious goal.
Let's get it. Let's do it. This is the state of Ohio.
This is the state of Ohio. Well, Ervan, thank you very much. I appreciate
Thank
you
you so
being
much
here
for
with
your
us
time.
today.
I appreciate it.
So for more information, please visit ComSpark.tech.